Excuse me. What in the world are you thinking?
Mean Gene, the first thing you need to do is to tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I gotta say.
What up, y'all? It's KMB the Sexy Ninja in the place to be for a Paper Saber universe, and this is the New World Podcast, brother. We're talking about Dynamite, then going right into Rampage, Excalibur, Tony Taz on commentary, and Daddy Magic later on. March 20th, 2024, we're in Toronto, Canada. We got Adam Cage showing up, arriving. Okada's here as well. Big night for Dynamite, and we started off with Tony in the ring, and here comes Mercedes Mone, and it was a sold-out crowd, it looked like. So I'm really glad that her second time at an AEW show, it was at least a sold-out house. It's probably not always going to be like that, but we shall see. And she wants to lead this global revolution and everything like that. I really liked her promo. I like the fact that she still has unfinished business with Willow Nightingale, but the chess pieces need to be played correctly. Like, don't automatically let her go after Willow. Let Willow just be a simmer, and you can build that feud to be something. And Mercedes Moné's talking about Julia Hart, Sky Blue, and I'm like, is the TBS championships really when okay, one step at a time, I guess. Okay, so we just got to see how this all plays out. But of course, lights go out. Julia Hart standing there. Sky Blue tries to attack. And here comes Willow. Here comes Chris, because they got a big street fight on Rampage. And this was a double show, so that's why it took me a little bit to get to this review of the show, because it's basically 3+ hours of AEW Dynamite, with Dynamite and Rampage being one show. And I have some critical stuff about it, especially with Rampage. But there's more critical on the end of like my DVR and also my patience. But we started off with the AEW Continental Championship, Eddie Kingston versus Okada. Beforehand, we get an interview with the Elite. This is a big match, and the Bucks tell Okada, like, hey, we're going to be in the producer's chair. We're going to be on the mic, on the headset with Tony Khan watching your match, being producers and everything like that. And this was a back and forth. Not my favorite Okada match with Eddie. I don't know. Eddie just seemed off to me. But Okada got the win with a little bit of cheating, and he is now the new AEW Continental Champion. I was like, okay, all right. I want to see where this goes with the new champ, with the title changing hand. But of course, when he's out there, for some weird reason, Renee introduced Eddie Kingston. They went to Renee, and she was like, oh, I was like, oh, okay. There's a lot of Renee tonight. Then that bastard Pac comes out to interrupt Okada's win. And what's the funny thing is Okada's pyro went off, and Okada was like, what the fuck? And he looked, he's like, oh, that's for me. Cool. We got Renee with a swerve. He's out for a vengeance. He's got that chain. He wants to choke people out, especially Samoa Joe. Then we have Renee again with Willow, Chris, and Stokely backstage. Mercedes Moné comes over, and Stokely's so fucking funny about this, because she shakes Chris Statlander's hand. Willow's like trying to go for it too, and then Mercedes Moné's like, you've done enough. I was like, ooh. Then she walks off, and Stokely's like, well, you did break her leg. I was like, damn. Fucking Stokely, man. Chris Jericho versus Hook. Hook gets the win. I'm not really a fan of it. Adam Cole, not that he beat Jericho, just not whatever they're doing here. If they're going to become a team, Jera Hook, whatever. I'm not for the ride, man. Adam Cole promo, he is mad at Wardlow for not bringing home that championship like he was supposed to at Big Business. He lost to Samoa Joe. So now it's on Wardlow to make sure that the other members of the Undisputed Kingdom retain their championships in any way, shape, or form. Renee with Jericho. He says, I got a proposition next week for Hook next week. Who cares? But right here, this is the fun part of the show. Will Ospreay with Tony Schiavone in the ring. And he challenges Shibata. Bruv. That's what he does, bruv. He's challenging Shibata and telling Bryan Danielson, like, yeah, hey, you had a classic, man. You had a nice match. That's some pro wrestling. But I am going to show you how it's done. And I love the fact everyone's like, oh, fill your shoes. You want to know the problem with Bryan Danielson's shoes, bruv? Is that they're too small. And I was like, damn, Will Ospreay coming with it. But we get him and Shibata next week. That's going to be crazy, man. And then we have Tony Storm and Mariah May, so cosplaying Tony versus Purrazzo and Thunder Rosa. Purrazzo and Thunder get the win. And I will note, Thunder Rosa got the pin on Tony Storm. So we'll see where that leads. Now, next up, an I Quit package for the big main event of Dynamite at the 2-hour mark for Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. I Quit match. So, The Butcher versus Swerve. Who do you think was going to win? Swerve got the win. Cuts a promo after. Then he's like, hey, I want Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe comes out. Then Don Callis comes out and tells him, like, hey, man, you can't just come in here and get championships. I got some of this undefeated as well. The Alpha, Takeshita. And Swerve's like, you know what? I'll face Takeshita next week. And then after that, I'm coming for Samoa Joe. So I was like, damn, okay. All right, Takeshita and Swerve, I think they're going to tear down the house. This next week's Dynamite's looking sick, bro. With Will Ospreay and Shibata, now Takeshita and Swerve, I'm just like, oh, sign me up. Then we go into our TNT Championship, Christian Cage versus Adam Copeland. It goes over the time and bleeds into Rampage at the end. And my problem with that, I will talk about it at the end of my Rampage review. But, man, you talk about Christian Cage, Adam Copeland, just craziness of Nick Wayne and Killswitch and Nick Wayne's mama. And here comes Daddy Magic. Here comes Daniel Garcia. They handcuff Killswitch. They handcuff Nick Wayne. Scared Nick Wayne's mama off. And the finish was Christian Cage in the corner. He got kicked in the balls a bunch of times. And he got hit in the balls with Spike. Because Spike was brought out. But what's funny is, like, he gets hit in the balls with Spike. And he's like, no, I don't quit. And then he's about to get hit in the head. He's like, okay, all right, I quit. Take my balls, but don't take my head. We got a new champion, Adam Copeland. And like I said, this bled over into Rampage and after Celebration. And, and I watched this on my DVR, so I had to, like, switch from this to the Rampage hour because it cuts off at a certain time. But, yeah, Adam Copeland, Christian Cage, it was fun. It was fun for what it was. If I had to rate this Dynamite, I got honestly give it a 3 out of 5. The Will Ospreay is my favorite part. I say match of the night was... I will say the main event, Christian Cage, Adam Copeland, they kept me entertained. Adam got busted open and everything like that. So, but there was a lot going on in this match. They kept saying it's down to these two. But you got Daddy Magic, Daniel Garcia, Killswitch, and Nick Wayne, and Nick Wayne's mama in there. It was funny. It's like, I don't remember her name anymore. But yeah, so that's how it is. Adam Copeland gets the championship. Then we go into Rampage. Bang Bang Scissor Gang talking about Darby Allin. And I will say I just listened to the thing about Jim Cornette and the broken foot of Darby Allin, so he cannot climb Mount Everest. I thought that was a work just to have him sign off on TV because he broke 3 bones in his foot. I was like, oh, okay, that's a weird way to send him off, even though we already know he's hurt and we already know that he's going to leave for a little bit. But no, he legitimately broke some bones in his foot, which is going to postpone his Mount Everest thing. And the Bang Bang Gang, man, they got this skeleton with a little foot wrap on it, and they're like, yeah, poor Darby. And Jay White's like, I got Sting's bat. I painted it gold and everything like that. And they're like, we're in Florida. We ain't nowhere near Toronto, Canada. We're sitting out in the sun, Bang Bang Gang style. Then at the end, they had this little slide where they're like, Darby, no! I don't know why, but I thought this shit was great. Then we have Renee with the Acclaimed. And like I said, once the TNT Championship bled over, they had to clean up the ring. Everything that was in the ring that needed to be cleaned up, so they're just stalling for time. Then we get Renee and the Acclaimed come out. They talk about, hey, no more fun and games, man. And they're talking about the Bang Bang Gang. Bang Bang Scissor Gang is dead, and the Acclaimed are pissed. And they're talking about how these guys are not elite enough like the Acclaimed and everything like that. They even said Jay White should have gone to the other company because he ain't elite enough. So calling out some big stuff. Our first match of the night is Best Friends versus Don Callis family, and this is to qualify in the tournament. Best Friends for the win. Everything felt really rushed after this. So, and this is where Daddy Magic enters on commentary. Shibata versus Squash Gang. Shibata has his match with Will Ospreay next week. Adam is backstage celebrating the Top Flight, Daniel Garcia, Action Andrade, and the Best Friends. So with champagne and everything like that. And talk about this real quick. Like, Action Andrade was on my mind when they're like, oh my God, Jericho was beat. Hook beat him. And I'm like, yeah, but didn't Action Andrade do that too? Then it just went nowhere with that. I mean, absolutely nowhere. So I'm just hoping Hook at least goes somewhere with that win, if it matters, being the Lionheart. You know, it just made me laugh when, oh my God, Hook, this is like the biggest win in his career. I was like, wait, what? Nah, okay, sure. I just hope they don't squander it and they waste it, or if they're going to become a fucking tag team. Ugh. Takeshita versus Rocky. Takeshita gets the win, so, you know, just showing that these two are strong. Shibata and Takeshita going into their matches next week. And now let's get to the street fight. I'm watching the time, and I'm like, are they really just giving them, like, 7 minutes? And, of course, they did the thing, oh, if this goes over, we're sticking with it. I said, okay, well, I hope you do, because Chris Statlander, Willow Nightingale versus Sky Blue and Julia Hart in this street fight. And when Julia comes out, she does her full entrance. And I was like, okay, we only got a few minutes, ladies. Come on. And I'm watching the match. I'm having a lot of fun. There's a spot on the table, Willow and Sky. And right when Sky got Willow's head right into the table and everything like that, my DVR shut off right then and there. I was like, what the fuck? Oh, man, I was really enjoying it. So I had to go... You know, I had to go switch over to I found the full match on YouTube and I put it on. And Stokely's on commentary. And there's a one spot where he's talking about the club. And Tony's like, oh, the club? He's like, and Stokely's, you've never been to the club, Tony. Get this man off the mic. But with them bleeding over from the TNT Championship match into this match, I will say this. These 4 women did more in this match to make me fucking care and make me go, holy shit. Like, this match was a banger for how short it was and everything that had the stuff inside of it. Like, Chris Statlander, Will Nightingale, Sky Blue, Julia Hart, my hat's off to you. This street fight was awesome. I will say, over everything with Dynamite and Rampage, this was my match of the night. Because they were given so little time, and they did magic in that time. I'm just saying, they did some magic in that time, and my hat's off. You know, like Christian Cage, Adam Cole, they fought all over the place and everything. It's like, I'm supposed to care because these two are best friends, 30 years of friendship or 40 years, whatever you want to call it, down the drain, you know. And I was like, okay, I knew Adam was going to get the win some way, somehow. And just that messy finish with everybody coming in at once. But this one was like, no, this is personal. And Sky Blue and Julia Hart got the win. I was like, motherfucker. But that's good storytelling on that aspect. And these 4 women tore down the house, in my opinion, in that final match of the night. So honestly, Rampage, I will give like 2 out of 5, but I give 5 out of 5 for Chris, Willow, and Sky and Julia for their street fight, because that shit was awesome. That's all I gotta say. That shit was awesome. So, tell me what you thought of both shows. Dynamite Rampage, March 20th, 2024. Excalibur, Tony Taz on the first couple hours, and they joined Daddy Magic after that. Toronto, Canada. A lot to unpack here. A lot to unpack. We got new champs. Adam Copeland, TNT champion. Okada as our new AEW Continental champion. And make that champion mean something. It's just been with Eddie. Eddie really hasn't been doing anything with it. But I hope that Okada can bring some prestige and glory to that championship. And with if he's going to be tying it up with Pac, I hope they put on something great at Dynasty, because that's where I feel like we're going to go. So, all right, y'all. Tell me what you thought of the show. Drop those comments below. Hit that like, hit the subscribe, share it with your grandma, share it with the bum down at Walmart. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com/New World Podcast. Get yourself that sweet NWP logo created by Penta X. And remember that the New World Podcast is for life, brother.